Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the next episode of my podcast, Dating Tips for Single Women. I am, of course, your host, Antia Boyd, founder of the Magnetize the Man method. And today, it's never been here before, ladies. Okay, today I have a special treat for y'all, which I know you will indulge in. Because today I have one of my clients here with me, Avni Shah. And Avni, first of all, welcome, Avni.
Hi.
Awesome. Yeah, so Avni will share a little bit about herself, what she's up to in the world. And the reason why I'm interviewing Avni today is because Avni has really such an amazing stand that she is in the world, and she's really standing for purpose and partnership, what I teach my women so much. And she'll also tell you a little bit about her experience working with me throughout the program. So just really I want you to peek your ears, take your pen, take some notes, okay? And don't tell me I didn't tell you, okay? So, all right. So Avni, why don't you share a little bit about, who you are, what are you up to in the world, and what do you stand for?
Yeah. So my name is Avni Shah, and who I am, that's such an interesting question. Well, I'm up to a lot of things, first of all. And what I think this is out of the work that I have done with you. I created this possibility for myself and really a purpose for myself in the world. And I coined 3 words for it. So who I am is I am celebration, empowerment, and connection. So that's what I stand for. And that came to me from who I want to be in the world and who I already am. It just naturally sometimes becomes that way. And I was like, oh, this is what it is, right? So it all kind of came together, but it's both. It's someone who I want to be in the world and someone who I already am. And what I stand for, this is new, and this is big, and this is bold. This is sort of hot off the press too. And I've said it a few times and a little less scary now, but I stand for the transformation of 7.5 billion people on this planet. And it's like, whoa, I don't even think I realized what it meant when I said that. And I still keep discovering what that even means. And
right.
Because it's more than the first and second degree for sure, but it's so many degrees, right? It's like people out in India and Europe and all that. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to do that, right? How am I actually going to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that, celebration, empowerment, and connection, those 3 key words, because, we talk so much about purpose in partnership, and really having those key words as your anchors. You really, and I really see you using them, Avni. I mean, that's really why I picked you, because you've been so consistent with the work and such a model, and really something that the women who are listening to this right now can look forward to becoming, right? By not only the work with me, but also seeing what's possible when you integrate that work in the world and what you're creating now with your fiance. But we'll go into that in a minute, right? So Avni, as I said before, you're one of my success stories, clients, rock stars. What else can I call you? And so tell the, I would say tell the listeners a little bit, you've talked a little bit about where you're at right now, but say a little bit more how you feel right now in your relationship with your fiance, now about to get married here in a few months. So where are you at right now with that in relationship?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're getting married at the end of this year.
Woohoo!
Yeah. And it's actually coming along really well. We're getting RSVPs, and it's like, oh my God, this is becoming real. And people are like, I can't believe you're getting married. And I'm like, yeah, I can't either. So Where I'm at is, part of, this is again a part of the, can't believe this happened, but Wouter is a Dutch resident. Mm-hmm. And so we're also in the process of we have somewhat semi-long distance relationship, not a completely long distance relationship. So we have to manage that. And right now, this is again, a total creation. Never thought it would happen before. He's in India right now without me, with my family. And it's amazing. There's some potential business that's brewing in the background, and he's gonna go see them and be with them and go shopping and all that. And he's having a blast, and I'm so jealous he's there.
Oh my God. Yeah, and I love that. I love that you're always standing for creation, creating possibility where other people might complain about that long distance and it's just short term, but you're actually thinking about, well, how can I turn lemons into lemon meringue? Okay. So that's what I feel. That's what you're doing, right? You're really taking a stand, and I know you guys going to have a powerful wedding.
Yeah. The connection is breaking up.
It should be fine. Can you hear me, Avni? Okay, perfect. Awesome. So now tell us a little bit about, because of course the ladies don't know, well, that sounds all great, but they don't know the Avni before the program. So where were you before the program, before you started working with me, before you found me?
Yeah. Where was I? So I have been involved in growth and development for at least for almost 10 years now. Yeah. But when I met you also, I actually met you at a course that you were a guest at, and I was assisting there. So, I had transformed over time, right? A lot of relationships and my career and money and all of that. This one thing was just not happening, right? And right before I worked with you, I'd worked with another coach, a couple coach, and it still didn't work out. And I'm like, where's that man? Right. And then the other way is if I look at who I was, I think, I don't know if you've talked about this, but I was either the bitch or the nice girl doormat, right? It was flipping, flopping between the two. But I almost didn't know how to come into my queen. And I didn't even know there was such a thing as coming into your queen, right? And it was just so confusing on some level, right? And it was it was just so that's where I was at. I was in relationships where either I wasn't interested in them and they were all about me, and I was like, yeah, whatever, not so, whatever. And then the flip of it was I was too attached. I was too into the man. I was running behind a man, when in the back of my head, I was I can tell there's something off about this, but how else am I supposed to get this man? But I was just, this is not even the person that I would really want to be with, but I, don't think I can be with anybody. Right. And I think that was, now that I also retrospect, 5 years ago, I was engaged and I called it off. And I think that was also the thing that was running in the background then, that, oh, nobody wants to be with me. Let me just be with the first person who wants to be with me. And it didn't work. Right. So that's kind of where I was at.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was, and for those of you who don't know what Avni is referring to, so we're swinging on a pendulum, and on one side of this pendulum or spectrum is, the overly avoidant part of us. And that's the bitch. And that's just outright mean and avoidant and pushes men away. And it's also a little bit of more on an aloof side, versus on the other side is the nice girl. So just so you know, you have a little bit of and then of course the nice girl always gives her power away, turns herself into a pretzel, and becomes anxious when he doesn't answer the phone for 5 minutes, right? So, yeah. And Avni talks about is that she then found the balance in between those two. And I can really say, you're really such a queen. The crown is missing today. I know you have one actually from our workshop.
I do. It's there.
And what would you say, Avni, you know, how were you feeling before you started working with me? Where were you emotionally as a result of you attracting men that either fit into one camp or the other, but it was never the right fit?
I was drained, right? I was just drained out of energy out of my life. And I was focusing on everybody else and the man and focusing on going on all these dates. And it was about the numbers. And so I was tired. I was exhausted. I was also like getting to the point where I was just cynical and resigned that this was ever going to happen.
Yeah.
And then there was okay, like, let me be powerful and let me be generative. And I could do that. I could actually do that more than anybody else that I probably know. Or, you know, there's other people who do that too. But point being, like, I think I was also afraid to open up and show my real self. Because I think there was a core belief, like, something's wrong, something's messed up, like, it's just not right about me. And that was the thing that I got out of working with you. And I'll talk about the first time I talked to you, but the VIP day that I don't know if, again, people know about it, but I was just, well, you held such an amazing space, and I just was able to get to that core wound that I've been dealing with. I don't even like saying it like that, but just that core belief about myself, like something's wrong with me or I'm too much, and, you know, I'm never going to get what I want because I'm like this. That got resolved. And I was like, what? How is that even possible? And I maybe didn't even realize it at the time, but I think I did. And you held such an awesome space for me that I just, like, said some of the things I said to you that day. I still remember it. Like, it's all like, it's like clear, right? I remember the first time I talked to you. I remember that VIP day, because I never said that to anybody before. Never. Like, I never even thought that was a thing for me. So, and I've done a lot of work, right? So you would think I might have come across that, but there was just something, right? And it was just so tender and whole, like, the space that you held that actually allowed for that to come up. So, and then there was the coaching after that, to, like, okay, the hands-on, right? Like, okay, I'm with a man and this is what I need. And a lot of it was also, like, with Wouter in the beginning, it was just becoming more and more clear and vocal about what I wanted. So I met Wouter when he was in San Francisco for a conference, again, in growth and development. And that was what I wanted, right? Somebody in growth and development. But I met him and and I was like, what were the chances? I was like, no, this is not going to work, right? He lives in the Netherlands. And I said to him, I said, look, you can't be a smoker, and you can't actually, I'm not doing a long distance relationship. So those were my non-negotiable, right? But, like, I put it forth like a queen, unafraid to actually say that. And you know, in my old life, I would have been like, no, you can't say that. Make it work. Like, you know, do whatever. Like, of course, like, the connection was amazing, and so you should do whatever it takes to make it work. And it was like, nope, not doing that, because it was just not being in my power to do that. So I'll pause there.
No, it's so inspiring, Avni, you know, just really how much you changed in your embodiment and in your self-expression, and really taking a stand for who you are and your desires, right? So I totally, and I can also feel it just in your energy, just how you talk. And I know, of course, the listeners are like, well, you can't compare to the Avni that I met, right? So totally different, right? Like, radiant, confident, and just really, but intrinsically confident, because you've been extrinsically confident. You've been really successful throughout your years, but now it's like also radiating from the inside out, you know? That's really like something that I'm really seeing in you. That's been like a major shift for you, right? And what would you say when you decided to work with me? What sort of, like, got you over the hump, so to say, that you're like, okay, you know, like, because we all have like this kind of resistance piece inside of us, right? Some people have it more intense than others. And so what was it for you that really helped you to get over that resistance?
Yeah. So like I said, I've done some work in the past. So I was clear that growth and development is the path, right? So, but having said that, so that was probably got me on the phone with you the first time. But when we were on the phone, you were the first, you know, in some of the previous times with my friends, with, you know, coaches, whatever, I like created a list of the things I needed in a man.
Mm-hmm.
And I've done that before, but there was the difference this time was that you actually had me feel what it would be like to be with that man, like what it would be like if I were actually in that relationship. Mm-hmm. Not like if you will be there when you, no, like you are in that relationship, how do you feel? Like that's a guarantee. You're not, you know, like that's a given. You're going to be in a relationship.
Right.
And it actually, in that call, it became about something bigger than me having a relationship to satisfy, you know, whatever it is that I think I need from a man in the world, like to look good or whatever, right? It was so much more about like just me being the difference that I want to make in the world, right? And we don't always go into relationships thinking that at all. We actually go into relationships thinking like, oh, there's a side of me that, you know, like needs to be fulfilled, and oh, I need sex, and, you know, I need companionship, and, you know, partner. What was the thing that people say, like partner in crime? And I'm like, what? Weird. Anyway, but, you know, things like that. And I get the sentiment behind stuff like that. But it was the first time where I palpably felt that I could have that relationship. Like that is possible. Something way beyond what I saw and what I have ever seen. And then second was just that that it's possible, and B, that it's bigger than me. So you asked me some questions, right? You asked me some questions to really deepen, like, why? Why do you want that? And why do you want that? And I was like, oh, why do I want that? Including, like, in one of the sessions, we talked about, like, you asked me, like, why do you want an Indian man? And I was like, well, it actually had me think, going, oh, wait, I've always said I have wanted that, but never actually examined what that was all about. And when I did, I was like, oh, I want certain traits that I can connect with. And it's more about the connection with the person more than, you know, actually like, oh, he has to look a certain color of the skin. And, you know, it took me some time to get that. And Boucher was patient enough to actually stick around. So I definitely thank that. And I'm grateful for that. But yeah, that's really what it was. It was some certain qualities I want. And then I just want a connection, and I want intimacy, and I want growth and development, and I want love, and I want someone who cares about me, like that. So
yeah, totally. Yeah. So that was really a big distinction for you. Like it's that's what I always talk about. It's like one thing to have the list and know it on a conceptual level, but it's another one to have it really integrated and have it be embodied, or feeling like, oh, well, maybe I'm not emotionally connected to it, right? So that's what Avni is talking about. You really got to emotionally connect to it. And which oftentimes that's the first blind spot, that we don't connect to emotionally what we really want. But yet we think we're doing that, right? While we're listing our things, our attributes of the man that we want, right? And Avni, what would you say, what would you tell a woman who's single right now and who's really thinking, gosh, you know, I'm really, you know, I'm kind of fed up with, you know, attracting the wrong man. And, you know, I'm really thinking about hiring a dating coach, you know, like, but I don't know, you know. And so what would you tell this woman, like, that helps her really to get over the hump and yeah.
I would actually say this to anybody wanting a relationship. Like, look within and be willing to look within, and bring someone on your side who's going to hold the space for that. because it's all coming from inside out. So, and that's what I would say to somebody to get over the hump. It's like, you want somebody on your side, including a community on your side, that's actually going to call forth your biggest, highest self and help you work through whatever is there in the way, right? Like Antia did for me. I think that's what I would say. I like, be willing to look, and don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask big of the universe, and be open, because it'll come in the most unexpected ways. I actually want to write like a book or article saying he was not my type or something like that, right? Because he was not, like, nothing about Voucher was my type at all. And it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. So thank you for that, Antia. I cannot thank you enough for that.
Well, it's actually so much about what we talk about, the benefits versus the features, right? So like, yeah, feature wise, he's not what you really wanted, but benefit wise, actually why you want the features, when you really look behind it, he has all of that. What you wanted, what you thought those features, when we talk in marketing language, right? When those features, those attributes, you know, have like a certain connotation for you, and that you actually got. You got what's behind it, right? So absolutely.
Yeah. And one thing to add, like, if you are hesitating in any way, right? You want it, but you don't have, look and see, like, what is it that you truly want that you're maybe not even saying, even to, like, you know, when you're on the phone with somebody, you know, trying to determine if you want them, like, what are you not saying? What could you say? You'd be like, you know, I actually told Antia, I said, look, I've been burnt before with coaches and I'm like really afraid. And she just got it, right? And that was the thing that actually had me get over the hump, where I was like, oh, she can be with that. So that was the thing. But I was like, I had to say it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to actually say yes or no, right? And I know if I would have said no, like, I would have probably forgotten, but I would have probably also regret it. Like, oh, like, I didn't say the thing, right? And so, yeah, that's what I would say.
Also, yeah, absolutely. Well, it's all about the container, right? It's really all about the container that you're in and that I was able to hold for you. And so, like, what sort of like an advice you have for a single woman who's like listening to this right now? Anything that you want to share from your heart as having been and now being on the other side of the rainbow, so to say, right?
Yeah. I would say there's so many things I could say, but put yourself in environments that are actually like more uplifting and positive, right? And in conversations that are uplifting and positive. Create that vision for yourself. Really create that vision. I think that would be the thing I would say. Create the vision, create your whole life, and that a relationship is a part of it. And it's possible. It's possible. It's possible for every single person. It's possible.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's really about, you know, one thing that I always say, it's all about having the right structure, having the right mentorship. So the structure is like the formula, the system, right? Having the right mentorship, and then also having the right support by your side, having like-minded women, right? That are holding you accountable, uplifting you, right? Like reminding you, putting you back on track, right? It can actually go really fast. You know, it just does not have to take a lot of time.
Yes. I mean, we went through it really fast. I think, that's a good point. I forget. It's only been less than 2 years since I met Voucher, and we have talked and created things that I think people who've been together for years, right? And I know that because I was in that kind of relationship before, right?
Right.
Get the right structure. Get the structure. That's the thing. And do the work. Be willing to do the work that it takes to have that happen. And not just with the coach, but also you'll have to do that in your relationship. Like every day, Voucher and I have to do that. Right? Absolutely. So it's just practice when you're doing it with the coach, and coach says, you know, this is the way to do it. And you're like, oh, okay, well, no, I have to do that with Voucher every single day. Every single day we play a game where we say what we're grateful for. to each other and what we like about each other every day. And then if one of us forgets, we'll call each other out, right? So
Yes.
that's the power of structure.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Yeah. And it's really important to have that in place, to have accountability, to have structure, right? Because otherwise, one thing that's always like environment trumps willpower. And if you don't have a structure and accountability, like part of your environment, you can't out willpower that. Like you can't, we have too many blind spots with the lead, generalized, distorted reality, right? So awesome. But I'm so happy for you, Avni. Like Brody and I was so happy for you. We're super excited to come to your wedding. It's going to be juicy and delicious, and we really get to celebrate. You've come so far, you've come so far. So thank you for being on today and really inspiring those single women who are watching this and really hearing from a live person what the journey's been like. And that it's not always been easy, but yet now here you are preparing for your dream wedding, okay, in Mexico, okay? So, I mean, how does it get any better than this, okay? So, I don't know, okay? You tell me, But so if so for those of you out there who are like, man, I mean, I just really got it now. Now listening to Avni, things start to make sense. I need support. I can't do this by myself, right? Because I know we're like all these independent women. I can do this by myself. I don't need anyone, right? And then you're hoping to attract a man who supports you. Well, how is that going, right? So it's, of course, also being willing to reach out and ask for support, right? So for those of you who are really like, gosh, this is really rang true for me, and I just really want to go on a call with Antia, with me, like I invite you to go on a Magnetize the Man clarity call with me, where we get crystal clear for you. Like what you heard with Avni, we'll see what it is for you. Where are you not emotionally connecting? Or where have you not really allowed yourself to feel that this is real? Or whatever it is for you, we'll look at what those blind spots are. I call them vulnerability thresholds. And really also creating this life for you that you might have never had anyone in your life who held that space for you, right? So we'll look at what is that gap. And for those of you who are interested in that, go to magnetizetheman.com. So hop on over there. I'll see you on the other side. Really excited for you. Avni, thank you so much for being here today. What a treat. I'm sure the women took lots of notes. If not, listen to it again. There were some really, really golden nuggets here. So Avni, now that we're at the end, any last words of inspiration, upliftment, empowerment, anything you have to share to conclude?
Thank you. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for working with me through everything that you have. Because it takes a coach who has, enough strength and enough trust in herself to be like, I can hold space for another, right? So thank you for doing that. And that's why I was so excited that you said, hey, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I can't stop talking. I love sharing about my story because it's so fun to do that. So thank you so much for having me here. And mostly thank you for what you did and being there for me and Wouter too, right? Like Brody worked with Wouter, which
Absolutely.
was one of the smartest decisions I ever made.
And what a luxury, right? Like when do you have that luxury that you really have a couple and the man is really working with men? I mean, that just so everything was just, it was really there at the right place at the right time. They just perfectly really came together, right? Yeah. And how was that for you, knowing that, not only do you have me, but you also have Brody, who's of course coming from the male psychology and can speak to Wouter from a completely different angle and can communicate completely differently into his value system. What did that mean to you throughout the dating process with Wouter, knowing that you had that support?
Yeah, I was not alone. So I didn't feel like I was the lone wolf pulling, the cart. I don't even know if that's a thing, but, just pulling the whole thing along. I was not the really accumulating, it was just killing the masculine and feminine dynamic between the two of us. So it actually wasn't working. And like the more I wanted to be in my queen, I would just go less in my queen by like trying to coach him as well. And somebody who gets where you're at instead of me trying to coach, right? It just, or trying to tell you anything in a way. It felt really supported. I felt really, really supported because I was like, okay, I don't have to do all the hard work all the time. Like he can actually have somebody support him in a way that actually uplifts him as well, right?
Yes.
Because he got to be his king and I got to have my king. And he got to be, you know, in his king. And like today he's out in the world, literally out there in India, creating a business opportunity with my dad and my brother.
Right. I mean, if you would have told anybody that, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, but at least I'm out there.
I know, right? And you could have never predicted that. I mean, you could have never made that up.
Nope, never.
Right?
Never.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, so for those of you who want that, hop to magnetizetheman.com, sign up for a slot as long as they last. And again, thank you, Avni, for being here, for sharing your wisdom and your experience and your journey, because, you know, we learn so much through somebody else's journey, more so than just through words or through concept, because you're really living it. You know, you're really living the dream. And I just really want to thank you for making the difference in the world. One more power couple in the world.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
All right, ladies. So this is it. We're at the end. Again, my name is Antia Boyd, founder of Magnetize the Man Method, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.